All right, I've gone into my downloads and I've opened up the CSV file. A CSV file is a spreadsheet. It's just in a different format. There's a lot of information here. It can be a little bit overwhelming. So to start with, I'm going to get rid of the extra information. I'm going to column A and I'm going to highlight all of column A. Notice how I clicked on A, and then to get the whole column to highlight, I had to double click. You may not, but we want that whole column highlighted. I'm going to hold down my shift key and my arrow, and I'm going to arrow over to the right. I'm going to get rid of all of these A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and K. I'm going to stop right there. While that is highlighted, I'm going to keep my cursor in the highlighted area. I'm going to right click. Oh, I lost it. So let me do that one more time. Right click. Now I see delete. I'm going to get rid of all of those columns. They are now removed. You notice my column A is new. I have left the test date. The assessment, that would be, when you click up here, you can see what they are. The assessment attempt indicator. It's the first assessment or the second assessment. I do not need their PA secure ID, so now I've highlighted column C by clicking on the C, and I'm going to delete that column. I do not need their middle name, their date of birth, or their gender, so I can get rid of those columns. The next couple of columns are the range scores. What is the top of the blue and what is the bottom of the blue? What is the bottom of the green and what is the top of the green, etc. I really don't need those. I'm going to hide them. So I've highlighted them. Again, I put my cursor on the E. I've used the shift and the arrow to the right, and I can choose to hide those. Now, here are my scores, and I can see overall, every time I click right underneath the heading letter, I can see what's in the column. So here's the overall scaled score, overall standard error, the color indicator for the overall score. Then it moves into the reporting categories, operations with real numbers and expressions because I'm in Algebra 1, and so forth. Then you'll see the standard error for operations with real numbers and expressions, as well as the color indicator. Linear equations and inequalities is the next reporting category. And just at a quick glance, I'm looking at the standard error for the overall score, and I expect to see these numbers in the 30s, and these are. If I was in the reporting category for math and for science, I would expect to see these numbers in the 70s, and they are. There's one that's a little higher, 82, probably not a big concern. But if I saw these numbers in the 90s in the standard error band, then I would say, there's probably some guessing. But 70s is normal, so hey, you have some reliability and validity data to show you that the students were giving effort and their scores are falling in the right standard error range. Okay, so let's look now at what we have here and understand what Administration 1 is and what is Administration 2. Just looking here in column B, I have the assessment attempt indicator. So right now 1 actually means the most recent. And 2, you see that's a September date, that's the second most recent. We need to keep that straight in our head so we can do our math correctly. Now, what I want to do next is filter. I really need to know which score is the most recent, and those are my ones. So I clicked on column B, and I need to use my filter. So you are looking for the funnel, and you may find it under your tools, and I'm going to filter by cell value. Now my little filter is here under column B, and I can open that. And here's where I want to check that I have the most recent. Now all I see are ones. Okay, I don't need that to be on my screen, but I'm going to pick up my student data now. I need the student's last name, first name, overall scaled score, and overall standard error. I've copied those by holding down my Shift key and my arrow key like we've done before. My cursor is still there, and I'm going to right-click and copy. Now I'm going to open a new tab, go down here at the bottom of my spreadsheet and looking for a plus sign. It might be on the left or the right, depending if you use a PC or a Mac. I'm going to open a new sheet. Going up here to cell A1, and I'm going to paste. There's my info. Now I'm going to go back to my group diagnostic spreadsheet by clicking on the tab at the bottom. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change my filter. Now I'm going to uncheck 1 and check 2. See how my screen changed, what's available? So now I have the second data, and I'm going to come back over and I'm just going to double check. I'm going to keep the column C highlighted, use my arrow over, and pick up the last name, first name, overall scale score, and overall standard error. I'm going to right click, copy, and go back to my new tab. It's now called Sheet 1. I'm going to cell E1, and I'm going to paste. Now, I kept the names temporarily so I can make sure that the names match up. So I'm looking across horizontally, and the names are matching up. You may have some students who didn't take one of the assessments, either 1 or 2, and some names you need to change. There I have one. I have Wilson on the second administration, or on the first most recent administration, but on the second. So Wilson, I can take this and I just highlighted, starting with the last name, Wilson, then first name, their overall score, and their scale score, and I can just take them out completely. I can delete, and I want to shift cells up. So now my names are matching, and I could have cut and paste and put Wilson down below so I don't forget about them. Double checking the rest of the names are matching up. Okay, looking good. Now I really don't need these names twice. So I'm going to take and highlight column E by clicking on the E, shift over, and to capture E and F in the highlight, right click, delete. So now I have student last name, first name, their most recent administration, and their second most recent administration, or in this case it was February and then September.